This is the 2024 update of the lovely Sheila, who has been using the suite of products from the I Am Melanin Magic brand since our debut almost 3 years ago. Her hair looks marvelous. Are you tired of struggling with hair growth and thinning strands? Release the magic in your locks and tresses with I Am Melanin Magic hair oils. A premium blend of all natural ingredients strengthens, restores, and revitalizes your hair for maximum health and growth. Don't let thinning hair
straightened hair
brand. Upgrade your hair care game today.
So are you.
I Am Melanin Magic hair oil. Welcome to the channel. You are with Tanisha Ali of Tanisha's Locks, Beauty Tips, and Potpourri. I hope that you are feeling peaceful, productive, and prosperous, and that your point of attraction is positive, and that you are living passionately with your purpose. For those of you who are returning to the channel, I love you. Welcome back home. And if you are new, do not forget to give this video a thumbs up. Share it, subscribe, make sure you keep coming back because more will be revealed. If you're interested in the Knotted Locks course by Tanisha Ali, you can find information about that in the description, and sometimes it is pinned in the comments. Let's go ahead and get into it. Should you oil your locks? And if so, are there things that you need to be mindful of? Well, let's talk about it. This can sometimes be a controversial topic, mostly because when it comes down to putting oil in your locks, in particular, if you have sister locks, there can be some disagreement with whether or not it's something that you should do. Oftentimes, this comes from your loctician, who may be following with some level of rigidity, or at least following what the brand often may recommend. Typically, in the people that I serve and have talked to, if they happen to have micro locks or another type of small lock, they tend to be a little bit more flexible about the oil. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the things that you might encounter as you consider what may work best for you. Now, regardless of where you are in your lock journey, whether you just had them installed, whether you had them forever, whatever, the first thing that I ask you to consider, and the most important thing I would ask you to consider, is, were you using oil in your hair prior to having your locks installed? Okay? If you were using oil prior to having your locks installed, the likelihood that your hair needed that oil is great, which is why you were putting it in, and the likelihood that your hair will continue to need that oil is just as great. So that is the main thing to consider. It's the most basic thing to consider, and it's just taking a logical approach to how you get around as you try to make the decision. Because if it was and you were using it, then there's nothing that's going to be any different when you get your locks. You're going to still need the additional nutritive support that the oil was providing you in the first place. The other thing I want you to consider if you have small locks is, although this is a style where your hair can proliferate, it can grow, you can experience an unrivaled level of abundance, depending upon how it is that you are maintaining your hair and what it is that you are doing. This style can be stressful because of some of the things that you have to do in order to maintain it. I like to call those things rituals. I also like to say that they are rituals that create a certain amount of stress for your hair in particular, and especially over the course of time, the cumulative impact of the very things that you have to do to maintain the style can compromise one of the reasons why you decided to get your locks in the first place. Most of us decide to get them because we want low maintenance, we want hair abundance, we want to still look good, we want to be on fleek, whatever it is that you all say, especially the young folks. And you may have seen someone that had locks who you felt their hair looked beautiful, and you want that for yourself, which is admirable. So being that that is the case, when you decided to make this decision, you want to try to maintain your investment to the best of your ability. And that involves getting your hair redone, whether you are re-knotting it, re-locking it, getting your retightenings, whatever it may be called. The point is you have to do it at regular intervals. And in having to do it at regular intervals under certain conditions, those conditions determined by who is doing it, the quality of those retightenings or relockings or whatever it is you want to call them, and not only who's doing it and the quality of them, how often you're getting it done, even if you're doing it yourself, the quality of what it is that you're doing to the hair. Now, what that means is that if you're having to get these things done and you're having to conform to these various rituals, then you are going to have to also understand that it's kind of like a relaxer. If you continue to stress the hair and you continue to relax your hair, maybe it gets left in too long one time, maybe a different time, some of the new growth is not the only thing that's being relaxed. The actual hair itself beyond the new growth gets relaxed, so it gets over processed, and over a period of time it can contribute to hair fall, hair thinning, or whatever else. The same is true with this style for the vast majority of people. The stress of the pulling, whether a tool is being used, whether your own hands are being used, depending upon what type of lock you have and what it is that you're doing. There's so many factors, there's factors that have to be considered. And not only do you need to be mindful of dryness that can come with anyone that's working on their hair or trying to maintain their hair, especially if you have African textured hair, or you are someone that has a tighter curl pattern. You know that it takes a little bit more for that natural sebum to travel down the length of your hair. So you already know that there's a little bit of difference in drying with us than it can be with other cultural groups. But then the other thing that you have to understand is with the hairstyle, you experience certain amounts of stress. So it's important to fortify your hair. So the second reason why it's something you need to really consider is that fortifying your hair and giving it additional nutritive support so that you can have fearless follicles, okay, and hair that stands on its own and can support its own weight from the root to the tip. That's going to be one of the most powerful reasons why you're going to want to put oil on your hair, in addition to some of the other supplementary or ancillary reasons that you might could list, which are you want it to feel a certain way, especially if you've been coloring it. You want to see a certain sheen or a particular level of luster. Some of you may be feeling that your hair is being beaten down by the elements. For example, the very, very hot sun. If you happen to be living in Arizona, it has a lot of dry heat. And so you might want an oil that has a humectant in it. Or let's say, for example, you're swimming very frequently and you know that the chlorine and some of the other chemicals that may be in the water are depleting your hair of necessary nutritive support, which can ultimately destroy your hair's integrity. Maybe you're someone that's just using a lot of water on your hair, or you wash your hair excessively, and the water that you are using can be stripping your hair depending upon what type of water you're washing your hair with. Or let's say you're using a lot of water on your hair when you wash your hair, obviously, and the products that you're using are drying to your hair, and you want to give extra support to your hair in addition to the moisture that you get with water. So these are very important things to consider, not to mention if you're dealing with certain scalp conditions, which can be eliminated or can, at the very least, if you are not able to eliminate them entirely, they can be mitigated with various oils, especially if those oils are high-end oils that give a lot of nutritive support and have a reputation for restoring the hair, assisting in hair growth, or perhaps warding off conditions like thinning, hair loss, and other things that can be a potential problem. So these are some of the very main reasons why putting oil on your hair is something that you should consider. The last thing I want to say to you is that it's important to consider, even if you are not going to use oil on your hair initially, as you continually accumulate more time in this style year after year after year, your hair will weaken if you are not putting oil in your hair, if you're not giving your hair that extra boost, that extra nutritional infusion. Over time, it's going to impact your hair. You may be able to get away with it in the beginning, but as time goes on, it will become problematic. These are some of the very real life things that you are going to want to consider, because the hair at the root is what needs the greatest amount of nurturing, because it is this hair that gives birth to the length. It is this hair that is going to be under the greatest amount of stress. So you want to make sure your scalp is healthy. You want to make sure your hair is healthy. I've had my locks going on 15 years, and were it not for the infusion of high-end premium blends and ingredients in my hair, I would be in trouble, because I use a lot of color, and at different points in time, similar to you, just like everything I'm talking about with retightenings, with relocking, with whatever it is you want to call it, reknotting, it can cause a certain type of stress depending upon the certain type of style that you have. So keep all of these things in consideration. And as you search for premium blends, blends that are natural and or organic, that use synergistic recipes, consider the I Am Melanin Magic brand, which is my brand made with my own hands. I'm not only an energy healer, I'm also an aromatherapist, among many other things. I am not only experienced and certified in these areas, I have a passion for creating products that sustain your hair, that increase the growth rate of your hair, and that feel good, allow your hair to look good, and products, most importantly, that get results. So you can find the information to link to the I Am Melanin Magic website in the description always. And for your convenience, it is www.IamMelaninMagic.com. You're with Tanisha Ali. If you have not purchased my book, Manifesting Your Masterpiece, you can get that on Amazon.com. And if you like the energy here that you feel, and you feel that you resonate with my message, consider joining me over on my spiritual channel, which is called Spiritually Initiated and Crowned. Welcome to Tanisha's Locks, Beauty Tips, and Potpourri, the channel where we get it all in. You can also learn more about the I Am Melanin Magic brand. Thank you for stopping by. Our magical hair growth serum did this after just 8 short weeks, 5 times per week. Tanisha began with the premium oil blend in April, and by June, she had already regrown hair. Angelica addressed thinning with the magical hair growth serum and continues to use the products to improve thinning in areas where it's been hard to regrow hair. Meet Kina. Her hair loss was spread over several areas. She went ham with the magical hair growth serum, and to the shock of her loctician, her hair began to rebound fast. She is delighted, and so am I.
I am Melanin Magic, and so are you.